Okay, so welcome. It's Attention Training Tuesday. So to jump right into it, I thought there's a good quote by someone that has taught me a lot, Tara Brock. Reacting to pain as wrong initiates the trance of unworthiness. So I think what she's referring to here is, usually we think of pain as, I stubbed my toe or hit my thumb with a hammer, that's pain. But obviously emotional pain, social discomfort, any kind of dis-ease, I would lump into that bucket of pain. And it makes it a little easier for me to connect with how my mind has a tendency to make that wrong. So either shame or embarrassment or some kind of a, yeah, you should, or, Ollie, don't be so, fill in the blank. So reacting to pain as wrong initiates the trance of unworthiness. And the moment we believe something is wrong, our world shrinks and we lose ourselves in the effort to combat the pain. I've been doing this work for many years now, and certainly I feel like I've been on the forefront of the psychedelic medicine, I don't know what to call it, movement, at this point. And one of the things I've noticed is in Western clinical medicine, we are very quick to try to identify and diagnose certain experiences. So anxiety, depression, OCD, PTSD. These are diagnostic labels that we apply to certain subjective experiences that people have. And once we add those labels to whatever the experience is, it opens up this whole process of, our Western medical system. Oh, there's something wrong. Great. You have this diagnosis. So let's start using these drugs or these interventions. And, now it all makes sense. And the insurance machine kicks in, and then some things get paid for and some don't, and so on and so forth. So I think there's this tendency to really focus on when we're experiencing anxiety or depression or have these labels, our mind gets very fixated on, oh, here's the problem. There's something wrong. This is unusual. There's almost like a mindset of pathology around it. This is abnormal. And therefore, my attention is going to fixate on trying to solve this problem. That's what the mind does. And in my experience, the more we focus our energy and our attention on what's wrong and what needs fixing, the more we give energy to that, again, quote unquote, problem. And rather than looking at, what it is that we want to be different and focusing our attention on that, it can become a self-fulfilling prophecy for many of us, right? We get so identified with these labels and this is what's wrong with me and so on. So I think that's what she's referring to here as, it initiates this trance of unworthiness because we take it personally and we view it in certain ways. So I want to remind us of the 3 Ps of pessimism, and then we'll explore that a little bit. The first thing that happens when we believe that something is wrong or there's an issue, we take it personally. And we can take it personally in 2 ways. One is this is happening to me specifically. My depression, my anxiety, my life circumstance, this is happening to me. And then oftentimes there's this additional layer and it's because of me. There's some kind of a defect. I have these diagnostic labels. There's something wrong with me that needs fixing. So of course, this is all about me, right? The ego loves that. It's pervasive, meaning this specific issue that I'm struggling with, this depression or this anxiety, this represents pretty much everything in my life. It's not just isolated to a specific person or a situation. This is the way I am. It becomes existential, which means that it's happening in pretty much every aspect of our life. And then we add time into the equation and we realize, or we have this experience of this is happening to me now, this is a problem now, and it's always going to be like this. So the reason I'm bringing up these 3 Ps of pessimism is I think when we become aware of how the mind orients itself around whatever issues we're struggling with, if we can see those three P's playing themselves out, it at least gives us some degree of self-awareness, and through that comes the hope of being able to say, yeah, but wait a second, maybe this isn't personal, maybe it's not pervasive, maybe this isn't the way it's always going to be, this is a temporary thing, it's not permanent. And it gives us some freedom to get a little more creative about how we hold the situation that we're grappling with. Okay, so let's try that out. Start by closing your eyes. Settle into the here and now. So immediately we want to harness our ability to focus our attention where we want it to be. And right now it's on the present moment. What's happened this morning is done. What's going to happen this afternoon has not yet happened. And both of those instances, not much we can do. So just focus on right here, right now. The body sitting, breathing, the brain thinking. Let's see if we can focus our attention on something that feels like it's not working in our life right now. So today, this week, whatever it might be, just something where it's like, yeah, I want this to be different, or it should be different. Maybe it's the political situation. Maybe it's something, a relationship in your personal life, but something where you say, this is painful. I want this to be different. Just focus your attention on the story around this person or this situation. Then see if you can find the mind's personal angle here. Usually when something's going wrong or we don't like it, it becomes the mind turns it into a personal narrative. They're doing this to me. This is happening to me. And maybe it's even because of me. I never. Just become aware of that part of the narrative. You know, we're not trying to change it. We're not trying to do anything about it. We just want to cultivate some degree of awareness of like, oh yeah, I can see how the mind is making this a personal issue. And then see if you can also connect with how this problem, this pain, or this narrative there's probably an element of pervasiveness to it. It's not just isolated to this particular person or the situation, but it's indicative of just how things are for me. This is not new. It's always been like this. It shows up in most aspects of my life, just the way things are. And then last but not least, notice the part of the narrative that has to do with permanence. The situation right here, right now, part of what makes us anxious or depressed is that we believe that it's always going to be like this. It's always been like this and it's never going to change. There's a permanence to it. Again, just see if you can see that or touch into that part of the narrative. And then ask yourself, is it really true that this is about me, that this is personal? Is it really true that this experience, this painful experience, is representative of all aspects of my life? It's pervasive. And is it true that I know that things have always been this way or that they will always be this way? Just pose those questions. If no answers appear, that's okay. It's really just about living the questions. Just asking, is it true that this is the case? Our brain has a tendency to focus on the negative. It's called the negativity bias. And this negativity bias helped our ancestors survive. It made a lot of sense to be fixated or focused on so-called negativity because it was dangerous and scary and hurtful. But again, just see if in this moment right now you can notice how that negativity tends to spin a story that this is personal, it's about me, it's representative of my life overall, that I'm afraid that it's always going to be like this. And the first step is to simply ask those questions and just see what arises. And take a deep breath in. Slow out breath, pushing the air all the way out, diaphragm and the belly. And hold. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Go ahead, open your eyes. I wish we could keep doing this for a while, but we're out of time, and I want to respect you guys getting back to whatever it is that you were doing. Hope this was a helpful little detour or just a reminder of just notice when the mind does these 3 Ps. It's pretty automatic for most of us, and maybe just the awareness of that will help shift things. So take care, everyone. Hope to see you tomorrow. Be well.